Would you mind telling me what your father's last name was?
My father didn't know his last name. My father got his last name from his grandfather, and his grandfather got it from his grandfather, who got it from the slave master. The real names of our people were destroyed during slavery.
Was there any line?
Today we're taking a look at the nonpareil debate and exchange skill of the incomparable Malcolm X. In this line of questioning, what the questioner is obviously trying to get him to do is acknowledge his birth last name of Little. And what his strategy is to bombard him with questions, right? And a lot of times, again, we talked about speed with MLK. Well, the difference is, you know, which shout out to my Uncle Jerry and Rob Gillette for really highlighting Malcolm from the streets. Malcolm got a little game. Malcolm got a little, you know, a little ism in him. In the streets, you got to talk fast. There's a lot of slick talk, but Malcolm's able to transmute that and refine that now as a speaker for the nation. So this guy's trying to, you playing right into his hand. You can't lean him. You can't fast talk a fast talker. So every time he comes with something, Malcolm is almost like it's like Malcolm's mind is working faster than the questioner's mind. It's like he knows the question before the questioner is even about to ask it. And every time he tries to throw one at Malcolm, it's almost like Malcolm got a little Mayweather. It's like he you know what I'm saying, Philly shelling these questions, and none of them are hidden because Malcolm is so witty.
And any point in the genealogy of your family when you did have to use the last name, and if so, what was it?
The last name of my forefathers was taken from them when they were brought to America and made slaves. And then the name of the slave master was given, which we refuse. We reject that name today.
You mean you won't even tell me what your father's supposed last name was or gifted last name was?
I never acknowledge it whatsoever.
Let me ask you about the status of Elijah Muhammad. First of all, is he ill?
I spoke to him today. He is in better health than he has been. He's suffering from asthmatic bronchitis.
Is that why he didn't attend your rally on last Tuesday?
The only reason that he didn't attend was his ill condition, and the weather here, especially on that particular day, was of such nature that it would have been almost insane for him to come.
Well, now, did you hold that meeting last Tuesday because it coincided with the general election, the primary election?
I think if you study the history of Mr. Muhammad's work and religious work in this country, we've had our convention on February the 26th every year for, I think, the past 33 years.
Well, now, while you don't care to discuss your former name or the name that the slave master gave to your antecedents, it is a matter of record that Muhammad's last name was Poole, Elijah Poole.
No, that's the name that his slave master gave to his grandfather or great-grandfather, but that's not his name.
Well, his mother and father thought when they called him Elijah Poole that was his name.
They didn't know any better.
Well, if they didn't know any better or not, they thought that was his name.
Yes, sir, but sir...
So what I'm trying to find out is when did he cease to be Elijah Poole and get to be Elijah Muhammad?
In 1931, I think it was, in Detroit, he was taught the true history of our people and made aware at that time that he was wearing an English name, and by not being an Englishman, he looked out of place. And his teacher gave him the name that he's wearing today, Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad.
All right, now when did he become what he purports to be in your literature, the son of Allah?
Okay, now the questioner just pulled out a slick, wily vet move. What he did was he just misquoted Malcolm, right? And that's something that is enraging to a lot of writers, orators, you know, it can be to myself included, because it's like you misquoted something that I clearly said, and what that can do is really throw you off your square. Now you explaining this, that, and the other. But Malcolm is special in that he has unbreakable composure. And on top of that, like King, he doesn't waste a word, right? But he has this added street layer to him, this added game. He got some ism in him, right? So Malcolm is a lot like Chat GPT, right? In the sense that I will only answer correctly if prompted correctly. If you ask me a question that is not correct in what it is you're trying to get, you do not get the correct answer. You get the answer to the incorrect question, which is simply, I didn't say that.
I've never heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad referred to as the son of Allah.
The prophet of Allah. Okay.
I've never heard him referred to as the prophet of Allah.
What do you refer to him
Messenger of Allah.
All right, the messenger of Allah. And I appreciate the correction.
Yes, he says that a prophet is somebody who predicts the future, and he's not predicting the future, whereas a messenger is someone who carries a message that has been given to him by one who authors that message.
Why, now, who gave him the message, and to whom is it supposed to be delivered?
Master W.F. Muhammad, the one who taught him, is the author of the message. He gave it to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which makes him the messenger. And he's to deliver that message of truth and righteousness to the 20 million American so-called Negroes.